Gathbandhan. What is the reason that Nitish Kumar is upset, sir? Because when he left the Mahagathbandhan in 2017, you said corruption was the issue. It was putting a taint on his government. His continuance in the Mahagathbandhan became untenable. But today, Lalu Prasad Yadav is convicted in at least 5 fodder scam cases, including having spent time in jail. So, is that corruption issue over? How can Nitish Kumar justify going back and joining hands with the RJD? डॉक्टर रणबीर नंदन, वो सवाल आपके लिए था।
नहीं, नीतीश कुमार जी कोई अपसेट नहीं है। नीतीश कुमार जी ने गठबंधन धर्म का भली भांति पालन किया है और बीजेपी साथ में गठबंधन में है और जिस प्रकार से गठबंधन के साथ सरकार चलाई जाती है वो सारा धर्म मानव नीतीश कुमार जी ने निभाया है। इसलिए नीतीश कुमार जी जो आपने कहा कि अपसेट है, वो कोई अपसेट नहीं है।
तो ये बताइए ना डॉक्टर नंदन साहब कि वो द्रौपदी मुर्मू के स्वेरिंग इन पे नहीं आए थे, रामनाथ कोविंद जी जो पुराने राष्ट्रपति होते थे, वो पुराने गवर्नर भी रह चुके हैं बिहार के, उनके डिनर में भी नहीं आए, और लास्टली जो वीकेंड पे हुआ नीति आयोग वाला मीटिंग, उस पे भी नहीं आए। क्या मतलब इससे क्या क्या हम समझें कि कुछ ना कुछ तो गड़बड़ है ना?
कोई गड़बड़ नहीं है। जब आदमी की तबीयत ठीक रहती है, स्वस्थ रहता है, तो वह कहीं भी फ्रिक्वेंटली आते जाते रहता है। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी को कोविड भी अभी हुआ था और वो तबीयत उनकी ठीक नहीं थी, जिसके कारण उन्होंने भाग ले ही लिया। ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है ना, ऐसा कोई विषय है
नहीं। डॉक्टर नंदन, ये भी सही है ना कि उन्होंने सोनिया गांधी के साथ टेलीफोन पे बातचीत की, और वो भी वही दिन जब नीति आयोग की मीटिंग चल रही थी यहाँ दिल्ली में, और उसी दिन पटना में 2-3 मीटिंग उन्होंने कन्वीन कर दी। तो जैसे आप बोल रहे हैं कि उनका स्वास्थ्य ठीक नहीं है, तो फिर पटना में मीटिंग कन्वीन करने के लिए स्वास्थ्य ठीक है, लेकिन दिल्ली तक आने में स्वास्थ्य ठीक नहीं है।
हाँ, पटना में उतना रेजिस्टेंस बॉडी को अलाउ कर रहा होगा तो पटना में 1-2 मीटिंग वो कर लिए, लेकिन अब दिल्ली जा रहे हैं तो ऐसा कयास लगाना ठीक नहीं है।
क्या दिल्ली में इम्यूनिटी कम हो जाती है क्या? एनीवे, लेट मी आस्क,
ट्रेवल करने में तो एक्सर्शन तो होता ही है ना।
जी। Let me ask our analysts on the broadcast. Let me start with Manisha Priyam. The question is, how much truth is there to this fear? And many are saying that this whole story is the genesis of this story is born out of Nitish Kumar's fear that, like what happened in Maharashtra, RCP Singh, who was thrown out of the party just recently, may do an Eknath Shinde on him. So Nitish does not want to end up in the same fate as an Uddhav Thackeray.
I mean, this fear is something that is genuinely going to be there because Nitish Kumar ji this time around sits on a chair with a very uneasy situation where he just has about 40 odd MLAs.
Yes.
So his anger with the coalition started as soon as the results started pouring in, and the fact that under his leadership, his party was really a distant third in the race to power.
Yeah.
So it was really the grace of the BJP which had announced before the elections that the chair of Chief Minister would be Nitish Kumar. And following the elections, whether they had the larger numbers, they agreed to this. But the fact that Nitish Kumar was used to working in an environment with Sushil Kumar Modi as his deputy, this time around, that was changed. You had Tarkishore Prasad, and you also had other deputies coming in. Now, this was a different team. Nitish Kumar, all this reference to, coalition, dharma, and all this is all the Atal Bihari Vajpayee model of the BJP with whom Nitish Kumar was comfortable. Also with Sri Arun Jaitley's team in the BJP with whom he was comfortable. Sushil Modi with whom he was comfortable. One often hears that he's not all that comfortable with this team. So that's one as far as governance is concerned.
Okay.
But I think the real anger has been the less number of seats, and Chirag Paswan, who Nitish Kumar often believes was the reason behind the less number of seats. But the fact was that there was massive anti-incumbency on the ground. And today when we compare Maharashtra and Nitish Kumar, let us remember in the elections at the peak of COVID in 2020, when the elections happened in October, his party came a measly third. There was anti-incumbency. There were situations why his party did not do well.
Okay,
Now
let me
add
ask
to it the RCP
Professor Sanjay
factor.
Kumar. This
Yeah.
whole factor about leadership, bigger party, smaller party, fact is, yes, Manisha Priyam is right. JDU was always the senior alliance partner, but because of the numbers, the BJP had bigger numbers in 2020, and yet they said, okay, Nitish Kumar will continue to be chief minister. Again, just as recently as last month, when Amit Shah and JP Nadda were there in Bihar for a BJP conclave, both of them publicly said that they will fight in Bihar, both in the Lok Sabha 2024 and in Assembly 2025 under Nitish Kumar's leadership. So where is this fear then stemming from?
There is a saying in Hindi, कथनी और करनी में फर्क है, और you can say, हाथी के दांत दिखाने वाले और होते हैं और खाने वाले और होते हैं. The public posturing of BJP leader is very different from, I think, what is being cooked in the kitchen. I think there are clear signals that Nitish Kumar has unease with the way BJP is running the government in the state, and also the way at times different political leaders belonging to BJP are giving statements against the government or against Nitish Kumar. I think there are clear signs. If you look back how the BJP's conclave was conducted in Bihar, even though the two leaders mentioned that 2024 elections or 2025 elections they are going to contest in the leadership of Nitish Kumar, but I think there was also one statement that they are going to contest 200 seats. Sorry, this was not a statement, but there were clear signals that this Baitak was being conducted in 200 assembly seats. A clear signal was being sent out that BJP is trying to expand party support base. They are sending out a signal that next assembly election they will not be satisfied with contesting half the seats or any such kind of a seat arrangement. They send out clear signals that BJP is aiming to be a bigger partner. They are aiming to at least contest 200 seats in the assembly. I think Manisha has already mentioned that this unease has not come up during last couple of months. This unease, the unease of Nitish Kumar with BJP started with the way Chirag Paswan contested the election and the whole story which unfolded after that.
Yeah.